Welcome back to a super special episode of Sports Casuals NHL playoff predictions. It's going to be a lot of Carl giving the predictions and me just yapping along, seeing what happens. Got a pretty interesting setup, tiny cameras, but you're just going to have to deal with it.
Part of what's playing into the setup here is I'm in Pittsburgh. I just watched the Capitals play the Pittsburgh Penguins. Great game. 2 points from Crosby, goal from Ovi. It's exactly what you want to see. What we are talking about today is the NHL playoffs, and they will start tomorrow. And I think we have a lot of interesting matchups here. I think we're going to see some upsets. I think we're going to see some 7-round series. And I think we're going to have the Stanley Cup residing in a southern state of the United States of America. But let's jump right into it. We're going to start off with the Western Conference. I have the St. Louis Blues defeating the Winnipeg Jets in 6 games. They don't even make it to 7. Connor Hellebuck, he's going to do his thing and not be as good as he was in the regular season in the playoffs. And Winnipeg without Ewers, I think it's a really tough go for them. He's their top end scorer. Like, he may not always lead the team in points or even lead the league in points or anything like that, but he's the closest thing they have to a Kirill Kaprizov type player. And with him being out for the entirety of this series, the Jets are going to be up against it to find goal scoring. So even if Hellebuck has a 2.5 goals against average in this series, I don't know if they're going to score more than 2.5 goals per game. So that's what I have.
I got Winnipeg in 4.
Yeah, Winnipeg
Easy series.
4.
Clean them up. The Blues suck. Get them out of here. Let's move on to the next round.
The next series I have here is Colorado over Dallas in 5 games. I think this skid that Dallas is on going into the playoffs here, losing 7 in a row, will just continue. I think that Rantanen trade has completely fucked the chemistry in their locker room. And Colorado is just vastly superior to Dallas in every aspect of the game. And it's really going to show. Natchez and McKinnon, they're going to be flying up and down the ice, and Rantanen's going to be he's going to have cinder blocks in his fucking skates compared to the two of them. And it's going to absolutely show. So I got Colorado in 5.
I also have Colorado in 5 because they're a hockey team and they're going to win in 5 games. And they play hockey and they shoot pucks and they get them deep and they dump and chase. They get after it. No, but Dallas, 7-game slump. So that was enough for me as a casual who never watches hockey to say that they're going home in 5, round 1.
I think the only route that Dallas has to winning this series is Jake Ottinger being the best goalie on the planet. And he's probably top 7. But if they want to win this series, he's going to have to be the clear-cut number 1 goalie in hockey for the entirety of the series. And I just don't think he has that level of play in him. Like, he's an elite goaltender. I don't think he's a generational goaltender.
Not a Carey Price type guy. Yeah.
Not a Carey Price type guy. I think that's what they need.
How many games do you have the Wild winning in?
7. This is going to be a barn burner of a series. I don't think the Wild will hold a lead in the series until the horn blows in Game 7.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think it'll be Vegas will win Game 1, possibly Game 2, and the Wild will come back and answer at home. And it'll just keep going back and forth, and then eventually in Game 7, the Wild are going to pull it out.
I love that. Wild in 6, baby.
Wild in 6.
Easy.
Them getting Kaprizov back is just so phenomenally helpful for them. You can't even put it into words, the difference possibilities that they have offensively when they have him versus when they don't have him. And not to mention Eriksson Ek coming back. It looks like Boyum is going to make the lineup for game one. He was practicing with the first line power play, and he finished second in Hobie Baker voting this year. He second best college player this season, and now he's going to come in. It looks like he's going to quarterback power play one right off the bat, and
Wow.
I think that'll help the team a lot because the way he can move with the puck and without the puck, it's just a night and day difference from what they've had quarterbacking the power play throughout the entire season. Like, it's not even close. If you watched the World Juniors, you definitely saw it. If you've watched any Denver hockey games, you've definitely seen it. This kid's going to be phenomenal. And it'll start with 15 minutes a night, sheltered minutes on the back end, but top end minutes on power play. So
I'll
I
act
got
like I know
wild.
what you're talking about, baby.
Absolutely.
Wild in 6, Wild in 7. Crazy predictions. What's going on for
Absolutely.
the last game of the Western Conference round 1?
I think this is going to be the best series in the entirety of the first round, East or West. Kings and Oilers. I got Oilers in 7. This is the 4th time in a row that these teams have matched up in round 1 of the playoffs. I think the familiarity between the two teams is going to come into this so much. We're going to see 2-1 games. We're going to see 6-7 games. Like the games where the team is getting exposed, the other team's going to be exposing the exact same weakness of the other team. It's just going to keep on going back and forth. The nights that one team is shut down, the other team's going to be shut down as well. So I think this is a toss-up in my mind, even though the Oilers obviously have McDavid and Draisaitl. But I think at the end of the day, the Oilers come out on top at 7 and advance to the second round.
I also have 7 games here, but I got the Kings cleaning them
Ooh.
up. Just, I wish I had something to say about why, but just a gut
Quentin
feeling.
Byfield.
We're going to
Quentin
go,
Byfield.
yeah, him for sure. We're going against McDavid. I've had enough of the McDavid gimmick. We're going for Kings in 7. Time for a new star in the NHL, and his name is Kirill Kaprizov. So
Moving on to the Eastern Conference Round 1, we have the Battle of Ontario. For the first time in 12 years, the Maple Leafs are going to be playing the Ottawa Senators in the first round of the playoffs. And this is going to be a barn burner. We're going to have Brady Tkachuk running around, hitting everything on the fucking ice. We're going to have Matthews. We're going to have Marner. They're going to be making plays, doing a little too much, trying to make one too many sauce passes instead of shooting the fucking puck. Typical Leafs hockey. But this is going to be a fun series to watch. And if you're up in Canada, you've got to be loving this series. At the end of the day, I think Toronto breaks their curse and they get out of the first round. I have them winning in 7. And this is going to be a tight series. I think this could be a Game 7 overtime, but Toronto finally comes out on top in Game 7 overtime. All the years of choking, all the years of losing in overtime in Game 7, I think this is the year it comes to an end. And
they're
they
due.
advance. They could be due. I just think they're a better team than Ottawa. Like, if Ottawa scores 3, Toronto can easily score 4. If Ottawa scores 4, Toronto can score 5. And I think that's what it'll come down to. I don't think there's going to be much goaltending played in this series.
I got Toronto in 6 as well. One fewer game than you. I got a feeling this year that they're going to make a little bit of a run. And by a little bit of a run, I mean losing the next round after that.
Hey, don't spoil anything here.
Yeah, they can already see the whole bracket, though.
No.
Next round. Next game.
Next round, we have the Battle of Florida. The East is filled with really good rivalries this year. We got Tampa versus Miami. Obviously, they're not called Miami, but it's the Florida Panthers, and they play in Miami. They're in the outskirts, but their home is
Counts.
Miami. I have Tampa winning this in 7 again. I think they can just outgun uh, Florida. I know Florida won the cup last year. They have that experienced roster, but they lost a lot of big guns off last year's roster. And with the players that they've had injured leading all the way up to the Stanley Cup playoffs here, who are going to be jumping in for game one, it takes a little bit of time to ramp your legs up. And I think that Tampa's really going to be able to take advantage of that. I could see Tampa jumping out to a 2-0 series lead here. And, maybe they relinquish a game or two. But I can see them grabbing the momentum of this series very early and not fully letting go of it and eventually winning in 7. I think Nikita Kucherov is going to have 10 points in this series. Book it.
Book it. Bet on it. Put the house on it. It's a lock. I have the exact same thing. Tampa in 7 for no reason. Just a feeling.
There we go. There we go.
Or no, I do
Now,
have a reason. Point differential. They were second highest in the league behind Winnipeg. That's why I picked them.
very nice.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that research. Definitely
That's
didn't do
lovely.
that 10 minutes ago.
That's lovely. All right, now we move on to Washington versus Montreal. Obviously, Montreal getting into the playoffs is a really big story. They've been horse shit for like 10 years, completely wasted Carey Price, and now they have young Lane Hudson and Ivan Demidov. These Russians, man, it's tough to pronounce. Ivan Demidov. And those two look sick, but they were one of the worst defensive teams in hockey, and that's gonna show. They're gonna give up a power play, and the puck's gonna be in the back of the net. They're gonna give up a 3-on-2, and the puck's gonna be in the back of the net. I think this is a quick series. I think the Caps give them a nice little gentleman sweep, 4-1. Not a clean sweep, but a nice little gentleman sweep. Just remind Canada the class that the United States does have.
I have the exact same thing again, I guess. I guess we just have the same bracket on the eastern side. So Caps in 5. Ovechkin just
Caps and
broke a
five.
record. They're feeling good. Locker room's feeling
Yeah,
good. Got an
yeah, they do.
all-time player on their team. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I like it. I like it. Now
I'd
moving
hope
on to
so.
the final series of the Eastern Conference round one. I have Carolina defeating the Devils in 6. I I really feel for the Devils here. No Jack Hughes. Losing your best player for the season right before the playoffs start is just a killer. They got a great locker room, really solid team. But I think at the end of the day here, just not having that alpha 1A scorer that Jack Hughes is, I think that's really going to hurt them. And this Carolina team, they've generally stuck together here. They had that really weird stretch in the middle of the season where the GM was like, "Oh, let's trade for Mikko Rantanen," and he completely blew it up for like 7 games. It was looking like horse shit, and then they get rid of him, and these guys just came together, and they've been playing really good hockey. I think they're going to continue that through round one. They're going to win in 6.
I had New Jersey winning in 7 because I didn't
Okay,
know Hughes was injured. So
we
that'll,
covered that
that'll
on the
play.
show.
Let's go
We covered that
Jersey.
on the show.
Let's go Jersey.
Oh
Hey,
my
but
god.
that will wrap it up for round 1 of the NHL playoffs.
Now we're moving on to the Western Conference round 2. We're going to start off with who I have. It's going to be St. Louis at Colorado. And I think Colorado wins this series in 6. This is going to be a tight series. These guys play each other every year 4 times, see each other a lot. Um, I don't think either team's going to be able to like fully expose the other one like we saw in round 1 with Colorado versus Dallas. I think that St. Louis is a little bit more of a complete team than Dallas, so we will get a more back and forth series here. But I think at the end of the day, the 1-2 punch of McKinnon and Natchez, along with the we gotta hope that Landeskog comes back and it's just buzzing. He's been out for 3 seasons, rehabbing from this crazy injury. I think by the time we get into the second round, with the 5 games he'll have under his belt from round one, and the numerous practices that they will be able to put in after winning in 5, with the other series going to 7. I think that practice will get his legs going, and he'll really provide a good complementary piece. And I think that's just something the Blues don't have. So I got Colorado in 6.
I got Winnipeg beating the Avalanche. Games, 6. Because
6.
we're just gonna ride the wagon with them. Best team in
There
hockey. I don't care if
we
they have
go.
an injury. We're just gonna ride the wagon to the conference finals. Hopefully, I can get some points on the bracket just for taking the favorite or taking the best team a little bit. So, yeah, that's where I'm at.
There you go. Moving down to the Wild versus the Oilers. I think this will be a good series. I think it goes. I think it goes 6. I don't think the Wild are able to extend it to 7. I got the Oilers winning in 6. Hurts. I want my boys to go all the way. But seeing the Wild get out of the first round would be sick. I just think that the Wild are one of the best defensive teams in the league. But I think over the course of a 7-game series, 6 in this case, but 7 possibly, McDavid and Draisaitl that's just really tough to overcome, because you can keep one of them off the board. They're on separate lines, so like you can shut out McDavid all you want, but Draisaitl's probably going to put up 2 points in that game. So at the end of the day, I think it comes down to Oilers in 6.
I got Kings in 7. Tough series, beating the Wild
Over.
here,
Okay.
and well, I need the Kings to win because I've got them winning the whole thing. As you can see. So we're just gonna hope for the Kings to beat the Wild here in the hypothetical series.
There we go. Time for Eastern Conference round 2. I have this series going to 7 as well. The Toronto Maple Leafs are going to lose to the Tampa Bay Lightning in 7 games. It's going to be a good series. It's going to be back and forth. We're going to have Kucherov. We're going to have Matthews. They're going to be flying up and down the ice, having a lot of fun. But I think at the end of the day, Vasilevsky versus not Vasilevsky is going to be the deciding factor here. And that's going to be what pushes Tampa Bay over the proverbial hump. It's going to send them back to the conference finals. This team's just been here way more. Toronto is going to get their first taste of round 2, and I think Tampa's going to punch them in the fucking mouth.
I got the same exact thing, man. I don't know about games. I could see it going 7. Toronto's a good team. Austin Matthews, obviously, they're a good team. So I could see it going 7. I'll
There
take
you go.
7. We'll go with it. We're riding with Tampa because they got experience, I guess.
Nice. Now, for the other series, I have the Washington Capitals winning in 5 against Carolina. I think, considering throwing out everything I just said about Carolina, I think this Washington team is even more tight knit than Carolina is, and I think they're going to band together. They're gonna be out in the hallway singing "Bands and Make It Dance" before every game, and Ovi's gonna be fucking buzzing. He wants another cup. He's coming off the goal record, and he's gonna pot some goals. I don't know. It's kind of an iconic image from a few years ago when these teams played in the playoffs. Ovi fought Svechnikov and knocked him out. like one punch right to the jaw, out cold. And I think that's going to be a summary of what this series ends up being. It's going to be Capitals just one punching this Carolina team.
Sweet. Well, I got the Caps taking down the Devils. As we've already talked about, Jack Hughes is injured, and so you'd just be a fool to go with the Devils to be winning rounds in this tournament. So you got to go with the Capitals there. Obviously, you don't go with New Jersey at all.
I could see there's a path to victory. I just don't see that being the path that happens. To start out the conference finals, we're going to start on the West Coast because that's not the way the sun moves. So why not just
Fuck everything up.
yeah, why not do things a little bit differently? Um, I have the Colorado Avalanche beating the Edmonton Oilers in 6 games. I just think Colorado is a significantly better team than clearly every team in the West, but specifically the Edmonton Oilers. Like McKinnon and McDavid, that's going to be a really fun matchup. But I think Natchez and Draisaitl, I think that's what it's going to come down to, and the speed at which Natchez can play with versus Draisaitl. Like Draisaitl is more of a brains guy. He's not very quick. He's very good with the puck, but Natchez plays at 100 miles an hour, and all it takes is one burst, 2 steps, and he's beating a defenseman, and it's a 2-on-1. And I think a play like that is going to be what decides this series. And in game 7, if you go to overtime, having those quick players that can just make something happen, that's the game changer right there. So at the end of the day, I have Colorado beating Edmonton in 7 games.
Well, that was a good try and all, but it's definitely not my picks, so they suck. I got the
That's
Kings taking down the Winnipeg Jets because we ride with LA here. People just want LA sports teams to win. There's a little bit of a narrative push. Big market teams. No one gives a shit about Winnipeg. So get them out of
that's true.
here. And let's go to the Stanley Cup for the Kings.
There we go. When I was 12, the Kings traded for Marion Gaborik, and my dad was in LA, and he said, "Do you want me to place any bets?" And it was the day that the Gaborik trade happened, and I was like, "Bet the Kings to win the Stanley Cup." And it was 40-1. He tossed $10 down on it, and the Kings won the Stanley Cup. So that was a pretty cool
Jesus
bet.
Christ. 400
Um,
bucks?
$400, baby.
Hey,
Hey,
love
oh,
that. All right, what do we got for the Eastern Conference Finals?
I think this is a series where the magical season for the Washington Capitals ends. I have them losing in 6 to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Kucherov, he's not Ovi. He's not the face of Russian hockey yet, but he deserves to be. He's one of the best players in hockey. Ovi's one of the best scorers in hockey. Kucherov is one of the best players in hockey. And that is going to be the difference in the series. It's going to be another 10-point series for Nikita Kucherov. He's going to have 2 10-point series. I don't know how many times that's been done. It's probably been done a fair amount of times. But at the end of this series, he'll be looking at about 30-some points. And there's not going to be anyone on Washington close to that. Like, Ovi can score, doesn't get the apples. Dylan Strome, he can get the apples, he doesn't score. Kucherov can put the puck in the net. He can find someone on the back post. He can find the open guy at the point who wires a shot home. I think Tampa wins this and they go on to the Stanley Cup Finals. Also, Jake Gensel, he's been to multiple Stanley Cups. He's scored massive goals throughout his career, not with Tampa. with Pittsburgh here. And I think just the overall experience level of Tampa, it's going to continue to show throughout these entire playoffs. They'll be down 2 goals in games, and you'll get a pan to the bench, and none of their guys are going to be no one's going to be freaking out because they've all been here. So at
I'm
the
loving the
end of the day,
rundown. I'm loving it
yeah,
because I've got the same exact thing as you, and apparently we picked basically every series the same, except for my fluke New Jersey win in round one. We've got the
and
same damn. It's actually the same exact thing besides that one round. So I think that's confirmed to happen now, so I'd bet a lot of money on that. All right, to wrap it up, what do we have for the Stanley Cup here?
I think the Tampa Bay Lightning will defeat the Colorado Avalanche in 6 games. Like I've been saying this whole time, Tampa Bay's experience is going to come through, and for the fourth and final time, Tampa Bay's experience is going to come through. There's there's not much that you can really take away from this team. They have a coach that's been to 4 Stanley Cups in 12 years, been to like 8 conference finals or something like that. Kucherov has been to every one of those along with him. They don't have Stamkos anymore, but they replaced him with Jake Gensel, and
They're winners.
they're winners. There's not much else you can say about this. Barring something crazy, I don't see Colorado beating them in this in my bracket.
Yeah.
My bracket's the best. This is what's going to happen.
Exactly. It's going to be perfect.
It's going to be perfect. And speaking of perfect, that'll be Tampa Bay in 6, hoisting the cup.
I wanted to take Tampa. Something just feels good about them, but just so there's a little drama here, just so we don't tie, just so somebody wins this 1v1 here. I've got the Kings somehow. I'm kind of second guess. Yeah, whatever. We got the Kings winning this whole thing somehow. Don't know anything about the Kings, but
They're rallying around the people of LA. That big fire,
yeah,
there
yeah.
that's going to be what pushes them over the edge. They have fire in their heart now.
They're doing this for LeBron.
Can you imagine if the Lakers go to the finals and the Kings go to the cup?
I don't want to imagine it.
Dude, if that were to happen, the arena workers would have had to flip from hockey arena to NBA arena back and forth 100 times throughout the year.
All right, we're rooting for that now. Then let's go Los Angeles Kings taking the whole cup. 7 games, a fun one, electric series.
I could see that happening too. I have them losing in the first round, but I can see that happening. Thank you for watching. Be sure to tune in to our NBA version of this, where I will be Brad and have nothing of substance to say. And
More than me, though. At least have some.
Because that's what sports casuals is about.
Making up for each other's deficiencies.
Yep, absolutely.
We'll see you guys next time.